So I'm Romana Schmalisch. I studied fine arts in Berlin at the university. My main discipline was like multimedia installation and film.
My name is Robert Schlicht. I studied philosophy, so I'm not an artist by profession, but together we've been collaborating for quite some time now, mainly on film projects, and we've started with documentary films basically and have shifted progressively towards fiction films. For our film projects, we usually start with a period of research where we either look into a subject and all its aspects, or start out with a place. And for example, in one of our earlier films, we were invited to a paper factory in Moscow, which was, half of it was still working as a paper factory, and the other half was converted into an art space. They invited us to make a film about this relation between the art and the labor taking place in the same building, but in two completely separated spheres. We asked the workers to show us how they actually produced. And the second part was that we wrote a text for them to enact in a kind of Brechtian way. And we combined these two elements into one film, which then kind of inverted the relation between documentary and fiction, because in the text, this enacted text, they talked about the actual situation, while the documentary elements were actually simulated, because they simulated their work and were not really producing.
As another example, where we were working about the subject of labor and art, was a longer period of research that we started in Aubervilliers, and I was invited from Les Laboratoires d'Aubervilliers to make a research about the relation of creativity and labor, with the title of the choreography of labor, or La chorégraphie du travail. So I focused at the beginning on the question or examples of where dance was used in industry, and there I was working about the choreographer Rudolf Laban, who used his dance notation in the UK in the 40s. After that, we spent several years in the process of observation, because we were interested to look a little bit into structures or into different formation centers in our days, like Pôle emploi, AFPA, Angéus. And there we were really interested to find exercises or courses where they didn't teach like a specific work, but where they teach like more general capacities. How you present yourself, how you move, what is a good posture and gesture, how you train endurance, how creativity is used also, formations to find out your personality, or to understand yourself.
And from the research that Romana just has talked about, developed a film project, which is actually still in course. And when we came here the first time and we saw this beautiful building, we immediately thought that we could actually shoot also a part of the film here, because we were still lacking the manager's space. So talking about the film project, the unfinished film project, which is called Labor Power Plant, it's a combination of documentary and fiction, because it on the one side it integrates all these elements that we were talking about and that we have observed in the banlieues of Paris, recreating them or restaging them to create a combination of all these courses into one institution, which is the fictional part, because an institution such as the labor power plant does not exist, but it is conceivable.
Ce que j'essayais de dire, c'est que nous pourrions considérer les individus comme des boîtes noires et ainsi ne plus leur prescrire d'algorithmes, mais simplement définir leur projet.
The whole exhibition has a lot to do with power relations, which is a very broad term, but well, there are different aspects to it, and one is, of course, the political aspect of political power, which is maybe most visible in the film Top Down, but also gender relations, also the same film. But there's also an economical aspect to power relations, and this is maybe the one that is most important for us. Everybody has to work in our society. The only way to gain your living is to sell your labor power. So if you say that labor power is a commodity in the same way that the things you buy, you can also say, how is this commodity produced? So what we try to incite in the viewer is to actually question the naturality of working in our society. So it's also a lot about things that objectify power relations, that the money that you have in your pocket is actually an objectification of social relations. While I'm talking about things, we also have a lot of things in our exhibition, which maybe also represent something else that is not totally visible in themselves. For instance, we have these beautiful two Gerhard Richter paintings, which are huge and very representative of money again, and of power maybe also.
Actually, we choose these two Gerhard Richter paintings, which are the most expensive one in the Frac collection, because we thought that like these kind of paintings are somehow quite often visible in like power structures, or like behind politicians, or like in the bank, or like in really official buildings. So they represent also a kind of power, or people want to have them around them who are powerful. Beside the two paintings from Gerhard Richter, we use also different small artworks and objects from the Frac collection. So we have different shelves, which we found also here in the building, and which are used in the office place or everywhere around. We put them together with other objects from training centers and other like structures, and also objects that we use in the film. So actually there's a mix in between these different things, and we don't make a difference. So actually you have to guess what is art, what is not art. We work with different groups of people. So actually we work with real trainers, with real people from these courses, but also with actors. And it was also important for us for the working process, because there was a kind of exchange in between actors and people.
Vous allez contrôler que votre collègue, il travaille correctement. Je sais qu'il y a certains qui trichent un peu. Alors on va essayer d'être ferme.
Actually, I think what is important to have this mixture in between documentary and fiction is that somehow the fiction allows us to construct or to ask questions in a very open, wide way.
Ouais, tu rentres dans le trou, je pense. Baisse-toi, peut-être c'est plus simple pour lui.
And the second screen shows actually extracts from the future film Labour Power Plant. So it shows scenes from the life in this institution and various training sessions. So these are some scenes that we've recreated with a professional team. You cannot just go into the training centers. But they're all real. I mean, you can find situations like these in every Pôle emploi or training center. So it's nothing that we invented ourselves. Many people don't believe us actually, but it's true. So